is Luna. Today I'm going to be reading you my persuasive essay, The Benefits of Saving Trees. Here I go. A standard healthy full-grown tree can produce more than 260 pounds of oxygen every year. A family of 4 can be supplied with enough oxygen for a whole year from just 2 mature trees. Likewise, 1 acre of trees produces enough oxygen for 18 people to breathe for a whole year. Although the quantity of oxygen produced varies from tree to tree, most trees live up to these standards, and if they don't, it's because we cut them down too early. While a mature tree produces a relatively large amount of oxygen, saplings only produce 5 milliliters of oxygen every hour. It takes 15 to 20 years for a sapling to grow into a full-grown tree. This proves that planting a sapling after cutting down an old tree is not enough to sustain the health of our planet, economy, and ourselves. Ourselves? Yes, ourselves. Studies have shown that people living in greener areas are happier and healthier. Recent studies have shown that plants and trees can actually lower blood pressure and improve reaction times. Among other things, trees remove pollutants from the atmosphere, which is very important for our health and the environment. Gases such as nitrogen oxides, ammonia, and sulfur dioxide settle on the leaves of a tree. Trees absorb these toxic chemicals through their stomata or pores, effectively filtering these chemicals from the air. They also reduce stress and support better overall mental health. And according to the Nature Journal of Scientific Reports, by being around more trees, a person can feel as healthy as someone 7 years younger than themselves. Numerous studies have shown that both exercising in forests and even just sitting and looking at trees reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and improves mood. Spending time around trees is shown to reduce stress-related hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. Do trees talk to each other? No. Possibly. Maybe. Yes. German forester Peter Wohlleben poses a new theory, an unexplored topic. Do trees communicate? How else would they be able to live so long? Wise old mother trees feed their saplings with liquid sugar and warn the neighbors when danger approaches. Reckless youngsters take foolhardy risks with leaf shedding, light chasing, and excessive drinking, usually pay with their lives. Crown princes wait for the old monarchs to fall so they can take their place in the full glory of sunlight. It's all happening in the ultra-slow motion that is tree time, so what we see is a freeze frame of the action. Quoted from the Smithsonian Magazine, March 2018. Amazingly, this is true. Peter Wohlleben, a German forester and an author, has a rare understanding of the inner life of trees and is able to describe it in an inaccessible, evocative language. He has devoted his life to the study and care of trees, managing a forest as a nature reserve and living with his wife Miriam in a rustic cabin near the remote village of Humu. Now, at the age of 53, he has become an unlikely publishing sensation. His book, The Hidden Life of Trees, What They Feel, How They Communicate, written at his wife's insistence, sold more than 800,000 copies in Germany and has now hit the bestseller list in 11 other countries, including the United States and Canada. Wohlleben has turned his attention to other living things as well. In his Inner Life of Animals, newly issued translation, quoted from Yale Environment 360. The scientific understanding of trees is bracing itself for a huge change, and Wohlleben is the first writer to appropriately convey its astonishing complexity to a general audience. The latest scientific studies conducted at well-respected universities in Germany and across the world confirm what he has long suspected from close observation, inspection, and research in the forest in Germany, where he spends most of his time. Trees are far more alert, social, sophisticated, and even intelligent than anyone ever thought. He points out that some trees' crowns appear not to encroach into each other's space. Sometimes 2 old friends are very considerate in sharing sunlight, and their root systems are closely connected. In cases like this, when one dies, the other usually dies soon afterward because they are dependent on each other. Ever since Darwin, we have generally thought of trees as striving, detached loners, competing for water, nutrients, sunlight, with the winners shading out the losers and sucking them dry. The timber industry, in particular, sees forests as insignificant wood-producing systems and battlegrounds for the survival of the fittest. There is now substantial amount of evidence that refutes that idea. Instead, the scientific evidence shows that trees of the same species are communal and will often form alliances with other trees of other species. Forest trees have evolved to live in cooperative, interdependent relationships maintained by communication and collective intelligence, similar to an insect colony. These looming columns of living wood draw the eye upward to their spreading crowns, but the real action is taking place underground, usually just a few inches below our feet. Some are calling it the wood widen web, says Woolivin. All the trees here and in every forest that is not too damaged are connected to each other through underground fungal networks. Trees share water and nutrients through the networks and also use them to communicate. They send distress signals about drought and disease, for example, or insect attacks, and other trees alter their behavior when they receive these messages. Okay, so that's a lot to process. Trees are alive. Yeah, we knew that already, but they communicate? Information overload. Fungal networks are the key to a happy forest. But wait, what about the theories that trees need space to grow? Well, false. Mother trees suckle their children and feed the young trees just enough sugar to keep it from dying. Trees in a forest of the same species are connected by their roots, which grow together to form a sort of network. Their root tips have highly sensitive brain-like structures that can distinguish whether the root that it encounters in the soil is its own root, or the root of another species, or the root of its own species. If it encounters its own kind, I don't know if scientists yet know how this happens, but it has been measured with radioactive marked sugar molecules that there is a flow from healthy trees to sick trees so that they will have an equal measure of food and energy available. But alas, roots can only travel so far. This is why there are gaps in the system. The only thing good enough to fill them is, drumroll please, mycorrhiza. Also spelled mycorrhiza or mycorrhizas, this refers to the symbiotic relationship between a fungus and a plant. In exchange for the local news and sugars or glucose, mycorrhiza or fungi transfer messages from tree to tree and share nutrients they make as decomposers. This system ensures that both organisms are benefited at an equal rate, thus forming a mutualistic symbiotic relationship. How much do trees impact our climate and weather? Trees affect our climate and therefore our weather in three primary ways. They lower temperatures, reduce our energy usage, and reduce or remove air pollutants. Each part of the tree contributes to climate control from the leaves to the roots. They cool air through a process called evapotranspiration. Example, if a tree is near or close by your home, it will cool the air around it by about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Many people decide to enrich their gardens by planting trees. Most of them do it for beauty or to provide extra shade in the summer months. However, there are more benefits from trees than you might think. Aside from relaxing, connecting us with nature, and displaying their calming effect, trees do a lot when it comes to the environment. Harmful CO2 contributes to climate change, the biggest current problem the world has to deal with. Trees, however, help to fight it. They absorb CO2, removing it from the air and storing it while they release oxygen. Annually, an acre of trees absorbs the amount of carbon dioxide equal to driving your car 26,000 miles. They also absorb pollutant gases such as nitrogen oxides, ozone, ammonia, and sulfur dioxide. Trees also absorb odors and act as a filter, as small particles get trapped in leaves. In the passing of a year, a mature, healthy acre of trees can provide enough oxygen for 18 people. I think I already said that. Every year, we listen to the shocking global warming news. For instance, the average temperature in LA has risen by 6 degrees Fahrenheit in the past 50 years, and the average global temperature grew by 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. This happens as tree coverage declines. Removing trees and replacing them with heat-absorbing asphalt roads and buildings makes cities much hotter. These trees are cooling cities by up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit by providing shade and releasing water. This is one of the many reasons we need to take care of trees before it's too late. I hope you learned something. Thank you for listening.